Are we good? Are we good? All right. Hello, everybody. It is Monday, November 20th. Bitcoin is over $8,000, so maybe buy in. Net neutrality is on its deathbed for like the 11th time. Contact your local, maybe congressman. They don't want that's a bad thing. So we have Marquel Smith here, Marine Corps veteran, as well as Jesse Nunez. Might see him the last few weeks, also a Marine Corps veteran. And the audio works. Welcome to the breakdown. Cool. So we are back here. Welcome. It's Monday, November 20th. How are you doing? Marquel, will you introduce yourself?
So I'm Marquel Smith. I'm the founder of Outspoken Studios. We create dope t-shirts and apparel around stuff we care about. You can actually visit our website, outspokenstudios.com, and find out about what we're going to do for Black Friday, because we're going to release some new products. We're designing one new product every day.
Amazing. And Jesse, just because the audio last week was
a little off.
Why don't you just introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Jesse Nunez. I am the owner and creator of the Elite Amateur Fight League. We are basically the NCAA version of mixed martial arts. We had an awesome national championship on the Marine Corps birthday a couple weeks ago. It'll all air on NBC Sports Regional Networks, first quarter 2018.
That's amazing. And then we also have a very special guest today, Dan Alarik, who's the founder of Grunt. We'll tune in with him in a minute. Right before that, I just wanted to say last week we launched a campaign. We're trying to get 1,000 military veterans to start businesses. This campaign, over the next 2 months, we're trying to accumulate a lot of people to sign up. It's called Launch Lab Online. You can go to bunkerlabs.org/launchlabonline. We've built out this 10-week linear entrepreneurship education platform. Actually, Marquel was in the class that we filmed. We filmed this class. We filmed the journey of 5 entrepreneurs. That's going live January 9th. Please sign up today, and we're trying to get 1,000 veterans to start that day. So the campaign is called Step Forward. So we're trying to get military veterans to step forward and start their own businesses. So without further ado, at this point, I'd like to welcome Dan. Dan's the founder of Grunt, and let's just say he's built a bit of an empire. So Dan, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored to be here, guys. I appreciate it.
So you very famously, you have this business that you took from $1,200 to, what is it? What are you at now? Like 100 and, what is it?
The last value we had was over 150 million. That was, a while ago. We're at 500 employees now today. We'll have that broadcast. It's got an incredible team.
It's amazing. Wow. Let's see. Let's just dive right into it. My first question, I guess, is I know that what do I want to say? I was down at Fort Benning 2 weekends ago. My little brother Jack is currently in AIT, 11 Bravo. Went down there and I saw Grunt Style everywhere I went. Saw it all over the place. And that was really cool for me to see, because I've known you for a couple of years now, and you've been at the musters and. What's that like to see your own brand, to see years and years of hard work just swarming over this country?
It's pretty incredible. And
Marquel, that is it.
Well, I'm sure you've experienced this already because you've been doing this for a while. How much time you run into somebody who you don't know that's wearing your product? You go up to them, you're so excited, and then the next thing you want to do is ask them, why are you wearing that? Because, I think that, it's just a weird feeling because you don't really you don't expect this. You kind of want to pick their brain, okay, why did you buy that? I want to know everything about you. It's almost like a creepy stalker thing, right? But it's really exciting. It's so neat. And nowadays, half the products we sell, I recognize the logo, but our team does such a great job. They're just turning out awesome products all the time. It's just refreshing. Oh my gosh, it's one of ours. And I'm that's pretty cool too. I like that. And it's just a huge compliment to our team.
Awesome. And talking about your team, Dan, you guys grew so quickly. We're in the process of growing the Elite Amateur Fight League. I'd love to know how you grew your team and how you got such a great team to work with you.
Yeah, it's finding people who get the same vision you do. I mean, your job as a leader is to communicate that, right? And you want people that can eat this morning, noon, night, everything, right? You're the guys that they're not in it for just the ride. They get the mission, they get the objective, because these guys are going to be churning out all day long. texting you or sending you messages because, you know, so say, hey, just had this quick thought, sending you pictures all the time, trying to make everything better. Those are the guys that can help build it.
Awesome.
So I have a question because I always think about, I'm sort of at a point where I want to actually invest in growing my team beyond myself to do more of this stuff. And I'm curious how your military experience played a role in actually how you grew your team, and what leadership skills from your military experience actually informed that decision.
I mean, when you're in the military, you know, if you had the mindset of, I just want to be the leader that I would follow, that's the person you should be. It's that simple. And what kind of leader is it? That's someone who explains the mission well, who understands what success looks like, and can communicate that to me. Hey, today you will be successful if you do this. And at the end of the day, let's find out if you were successful or not. That's it. I mean, sometimes you can hear, we used to do AM briefs, you know, like you do in the military, you know, the morning, all huddle in. All right, guys, this is stuff we got to run through today to be successful. And at the end of the day, all right, we did 1, 2, 4. We didn't hit 5 and we were not successful. But we're not adapt or Tom and we're going to hit. And a lot of us stuff that we did in the military too is always mission first. You know, I used to have guys that stay up all night long. I remember we did this. It was we were just out of the screen print, right? We had no idea what we were doing. So Dan, in his great wisdom, goes out to a trade show, sees this automatic screen print machine. Awesome. I bought it, brought it back, and I said, okay, guys, figure this out, make it work. And at the same time, I sold a bunch of words saying that, oh yeah, I'll screen print that for you. Right? Not knowing it was a lot more complicated than it really was, right? So I had this like friend of a friend who did like these bartending like tank tops or something like that for all the ladies, right? And I promised him like, yeah, no big deal, we'll have it to you on time, right? And we must have, it was a small order, like 50 tank tops, right? We must have gone through like 300 or 400 shirts trying to make it right. And we were up all night, and my guys didn't care. They were like, you know what, this is the mission, we're going to do it. And they stuck to it. I mean, the girls lived it. She's like, the event's today, Saturday morning, you promised this to me 3 weeks ago. And it wasn't because we were trying, it's because I was stupid and I sold something I couldn't produce. And eventually we got it, and I delivered it to her house at like 6 in the morning because they were leaving in like an hour and a half. I'm like, here you go. And we threw everything we had into it, but yes. Same values we had military.
So you talk about your team a lot, so that's probably one of your driving forces now. What, in the early days, what kept you going? What kept you motivated before you had this team, before you had these guys to take care of?
I was probably stupid, didn't know that. But, you know, it's the same thing, you know, put the mission in front of you, set a goal, and do whatever it takes to get it done. Every day I wake up, I pull up my leader's book, I still do that, and I write down, okay, today I'll be successful if, and we have a whole list of stuff that we have to do, you know, it's talk to this person, email this person. Back in the day when I was starting off, it was, you know, 2012 was when I really started taking e-commerce seriously, right? So what I did was, there's only 2 things that I cared about: email addresses and Facebook likes. Because Facebook likes back in that time were important, right? Those 2 things, I could bring traffic to the website. And if I had traffic to the website, I would have orders. And I knew all those numbers. So every day I'm like, all right, how am I going to get 3,000 more Facebook likes and 1,000 email addresses? And every day I'm racking my brain, how do I do that, how do I do that, how do I do that? Trying everything. And a funny meme. You remember just a few years ago, Facebook turned into meme everything everywhere, right? You got some e-cards this, you got all the memes launching everywhere with a scary redhead kid or whatever, right? And that's what I did. You know, I did a bunch of funny memes that would communicate to the people that would like our product. And I'd wake up every day and grow our Facebook page and grow our email list.
Wow.
So, random question. So, were your memes directly related to your product, or they were just whatever about what was going on?
It didn't have to do anything with the product. It had to do with the people who would buy my product.
Okay.
So, think about it. Like, so your business, right? You explained it to me earlier before we started, right? And you have a pretty, it's a big audience, but it's a niche, right? And so what you do is that niche, maybe a little bit different, but guarantee they probably would like this meme or this video or whatever. It doesn't matter. All you're trying to do is get their attention. You get their attention, you get their, back then, a like or whatever, but now it's all about reach. You get their attention, and then hopefully you can convert that into an email address. Now, you have their attention outside of Facebook, now that you control.
Excellent. I have a quick question. So, we're in the process of trying to get some strategic partners. I know you have a lot of strategic partners over at Grunt South. How did you build those relationships?
Well, it's tough because if you're just starting out now, you've grown very quickly. You're building your starting to do something pretty substantial pretty quickly. But when you're starting out, it's hard because you really don't have a whole lot of assets. And a partnership works because you both get some sort of fair return. And it makes it difficult if you can't come up with something fair. So you have to figure out what assets do I really have. Is it social media reach? Is it an email list? Is it maybe free products? So, Marquel, when you're talking to people, your product retails for, how much does that money retail for?
$32.
$32. What's your, so your direct cost of that is probably a fraction of that, right?
It is.
It is, good. So, but if you come to somebody who's much larger than you and you want access to their email list or their audience or whatever, you say, listen, I'm going to provide you with $32 hoodies. I'm doing that on it, right?
Yeah.
Now they're thinking 32 times 50, but you're thinking, whatever, 9 times 50 or whatever like that. So
right.
you make it 3 times, you're saving, you're only paying 1/3 of that cost.
Right.
That's an asset.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe I'll try that with you after the show.
Amazing. I think, so moving on from that, I mean, I want to kind of get your opinion on a couple things. I love that you're just pouring yourself a glass of America bourbon at the moment. You got to rep the brand. There's a couple other things that Grunt Style is involved with. I see, Alpha Outpost behind you, America Bourbon. So you're starting to, diversify this retail brand, this national, it's amazing. So one of the things I want to talk about was, Stitch Fix is a retail company started about 4 years ago. They had an IPO on Friday, and it's significant because, they're just a retail brand. And they're basically a broker. They're the middleman for clothing. And for them to take a company public in 4 years is really remarkable. And they did that obviously through selling one product and adding more products to that. So it's something to think about long term. So here's my question: what's your number, Dan?
For IPO, it's called Over My Dead Body.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was your answer. Yeah, it's like I knew that.
Listen, so you guys are around a lot of people starting up companies all the time, and it's interesting when you talk to people who are really not passionate about business. There's nothing wrong with it. Before they make their first dollar, they're in their head they're already buying jets and Lamborghinis, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You see people all the time. Most of those people are probably going to fail. Just like most entrepreneurs. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting to sell. But if you're ever in business, I don't want to be your partner. They want to talk about, hey, what's your exit strategy? But think about it. That's probably a question that only was invented 20 years ago, or maybe 30 years ago with Carl Icahn. What's your exit strategy? Why should I have to think about it? I want to build a brand that lasts, and it lasts forever. There's very few corporations that have been around for 100+ years, but I want to be one of us. I want to be a brand that's around for 500 years, and that's the culture that I want to build here.
So I worked in mergers and acquisitions before I ever started selling T-shirts for a big Fortune 50 company, and it was pretty fun to be bought out. So I'm curious, how do you turn down the call with the big check when they can see your value? Because obviously you're adding a lot of great lines to your business. You offer something that another company that may be struggling in their area can't do, like a Bella Canvas, for example. How do you say no to those companies?
Well, for me, it's easy because we're not here at our moment, so we have a long way to go. Make people look back and see, you guys gotten so far, but to me, we're in the first mile of the marathon. We're just getting started. But I remember the first time someone came in and did a soft offer to us years ago for like $30 million. And I went home that night and I was so proud. I'm like, oh, that's a couple of pounds sand. And this is my lovely wife, by the way. She's like, punch you right in the arm. She's like, dude, what? Wife loving passion, obviously. And then we got an offer for 60, and it just kept going from there. And we're like, you know what, this is, and I made it very clear. Guys, we have such a long way to go. That's not what I'm interested in. And I hope I communicate that well to our team. I think it would be hard to work for somebody knowing that they just want a big payday and you're building that payday for them. Who would want to work for someone like that? There's nothing wrong with having an exit strategy or going public. Going public is not an exit strategy. It's a way to raise money. I don't want that pressure from people who have nothing to do with our business to dictate what we're doing. That's not for us. I like our independence. But if from day one, you're telling everyone, yeah, we're in 3 years, we're going to exit and do this. Why do I want to work for you?
Yeah, seriously, that's a great point. I just want to wait real quick. How are we doing on audio? It's been weird.
He's scratchy, but
Dan's kind of scratchy.
a little bit. But keep going.
Okay, I think we're good. We're good. Just want to double check. Last week we had a pretty weird.
You can do a little zoom in here, maybe.
Better than last week.
We're already doing better. Okay, cool. So here's kind of a relevant topic. So Apple, I don't know if are you an iPhone guy? Android?
Absolutely not.
All right, no, no fruit for Dan. So Apple had this weird glitch where you type the letter I. It's like probably the most common letter ever, and it would show up as like a capital A and a question mark, which is strange for the world's largest company to take 3 weeks to basically fix that glitch. I'm not hating on it. I don't know how to run Apple, so whatever. They'll figure it out. So I want to ask you though, when you feel like your gears are turning, when you feel like everything's operating smoothly, like, can you share a story where like things just fell apart, or like something weird happened? I'm just curious. This stuff happens, and entrepreneurial, like startup mistakes happen at every level. So I was just curious about if you had any stories like that.
Maybe not we're not the size of Apple at all, so we don't have any of that skill. I did find out that one of our designers had a running joke for months that he would hide male genitalia in some of our artwork that everyone would wear.
Oh gosh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do with that information?
Yeah, this was a while ago, so don't worry, you're not wearing it now. That's how people wearing whatever. So that was interesting. We make mistakes all the time. I'll make most of them. That's okay. What our rule is, make mistakes. Just don't make the same one twice.
Yep.
It's like you're a mouse in a maze, right? Find that dead end. Just don't keep going down the same dead end, right? It's okay. I remember when we first started off, I had this brilliant thing because I had no business experience. I'm in Fort Benning, Georgia, and there was this big billboard on exit 3 or 4, right before exit 1 is the base, right?
Yep.
So exit 3 or 4, and nobody really exits it between 4 and under. It's not a great place to be. So there's this billboard on exit whatever 3 or whatever. So I take the little money we have, which was like $1,000 a month, and I commit to this billboard, and I put some corny phrase on there that says, it's this chick, this lady in a shirt says, "Hey, you look good in that shirt." And the guy says, "No, I look amazing. Gruntsell.com." And a cocky thing. I thought it was hilarious. And it would be our golden ticket to marketing forever. Turns out nobody cared. It was there for a year, and I couldn't even afford it. It was bankrupting us.
You've been all over the map with this business, Dan. I love it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So you have a team of 500 people. How do you incentivize people in your early days, when you're talking about you have limited resources? How do you incentivize people to want to do things for you and help you build the brand that you built?
So that's really hard. So that type of workforce or people that you need to recruit is special because they're looking for opportunity where most people are looking for, yes, opportunity, but a very safe structure to do it in, right? And, especially if you're coming from the military, most people have that structure their entire lives. So when they're going out and say, listen, we're all going to roll the dice together, and if we do well, you have the opportunity to rise up the ranks really quickly. And those are the people you need to go find out. People who are inspired by that. People who can inspire others with that. And it's hard to find because when you're first hiring your first few people and you're interviewing, you got to tell them it's a normal job. They ask, "Hey, what kind of benefits you have?" A lot of hard work, but very little pay.
That's good. Here you go.
I like that.
Thanks, Dan. So every week we do a thing. We go around and just kind of talk about hacks, so things that we use in our day-to-day life that are either like free or cheap services that we can use to improve our chances of success. So I was wondering, do you have any hacks? Is there anything that you do that can be applied to any startup?
Yeah, one of the biggest apps that we use is called Boxer, BOXER. It's pretty popular now. We've been using it for about 3 or 4 years. It's like a walkie-talkie text message video, phone, whatever, right?
Yep.
It's great because you can create all these little subgroups and you can talk while you're in the car without typing stuff. And it's just constant communication. When I stick my leaders will send messages back and forth on my Saturday night at 9 p.m. Just whatever rolls into your head. It's when it doesn't really require an email, but you want to pass along ideas. It's a great way, honestly. Especially now that we have a team down in San Antonio and we have another team in Chicago, and we're doing buildings in Chicago, and we're expanding all over the place. We have partners everywhere. We're traveling all the time. It's a great way to always be there while you're on the go. That's probably our favorite app.
Very cool.
It's also kind of a curse too because they're always available.
Oh, that's great. Mark, do you have
So my new favorite is I'm a creative guy, so I use Adobe products. So Adobe Spark, they have this new thing where you can actually brand your social media content now. So built into the app, so if you have an iPhone or Android. So I find it pretty helpful. It's free, and it's a great app.
Awesome. For the military veterans out there, I think everybody uses LinkedIn, but you can get the premium version of LinkedIn for free for a year if you're a veteran.
Yeah.
So you just log in, find the veteran page, and get your free premium version of LinkedIn as long as you're a veteran.
Oh, that's actually valuable information. I wish I'd known that a year ago.
Online question.
You have an yes?
I have one more too for social media because we're social media people everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably the best tool out there that'll kind of tell you how you're doing social media is Fan Karma. It's a German company, but they do a really good job of breaking down your engagement, your growth, etc. Things that actually matter. They're probably one of the most accurate at it.
Fan page karma. So that's what Grunt style uses. All right, good to know. All right. It looks like we have an online question from somebody, Christine. Omar Gonzalez is asking, what skills do you feel, getting a radio in, what skills do you feel you lack as a business owner? It's a deep question. What skills do you feel you lack as a business owner? It's a deep question.
So one of the biggest ones actually starting out was finance. I didn't know anything about finance. I was a marketing and sales person pretty heavily. I love anything creative. I could even lightly edit videos and photos and everything like that. But the financial side, I always thought, I'll just keep selling and everything will kind of work itself out. And that's not true. You really need to have a strong financial hold on things. And I've spent a considerable amount of time educating myself, but even last week I was having another financial meeting with our financial team, and it's almost scary and motivating at the same time of how little you really know and how important of that business is. I mean, every business has an offense and a defense. You have your offensive side, which is go get customers, go make money, be creative, etc. And then you have the defensive side, which is your fulfillment, your operations, deliver to that promise to the customer, but also make sure you're financially sound. That ties them both together. And that was something I really, really struggled with for a long time.
Wow, that's a good answer. Thank you. And thank you for the online questions. Keep them coming in. So I'll wrap it up with my hack, and this was actually the hack I said last week, but we had horrible audio. So it's called Shake. If you're a freelancer or you're trying to start a business and you think you're about to go spend a bunch of money on like operating agreements and stuff, or you want to do like a freelance project for somebody, there's a tool called Shake. It's free legal documents. It's great. So if you need to go do that, it saves you time and money. Because a lot of people get like caught up in the nuance of legal, operating agreements between co-founders and things like that. But in reality, you should be focused on selling and generating revenue. But so that is my hack. I just want to say, Dan, thank you again. I really appreciate this. This is amazing. And we'll definitely be seeing you soon, hopefully.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Nice to meet you again, Jesse. Well, I'm glad we got to meet face-to-face almost.
Yes, almost in person.
All right, and next week, we are excited to we'll have Nick Toronto on next week. Nick is also a Marine Corps veteran, like you guys. Yeah, there you go. Nick is the co-founder of Plated. Plated is a on-demand meal kit delivery company. And you might have heard about them in the news because they recently just sold for $200 million. Wow. So Nick will be joining us next week. That's going to be a fantastic interview. So thank you very much for joining us on The Breakdown.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.